He is former Alabama linebacker Rashaan Evans. He joins us every Wednesday morning as he is getting ready for the NFL Combine and ultimately the NFL Draft. He is training down in South Florida. He projects as a first-round draft pick, and we're excited to have him with us again this Wednesday morning. How you doing, Rashaan?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Doing really well, man. Listen, the Combine starts 13 days from today. So you are, I know, really in intense training. What are you doing training-wise to make sure that you're ready, but that you're fresh, that you don't overtrain, that you don't strain anything, and that you're at your best a couple weeks from now when the Combine actually begins in Indianapolis? How do you do that?
Well, hey, man, I kind of wanted to start off. I just wanted to let y'all know I changed location, so now I'm back here in T-Town. I was with Bommarito, and, I decided I wanted to be a little closer to family. Bommarito had done a phenomenal job with me, just, getting my speed up to part where I wanted it. And, to be honest with you, I would basically refer anybody to Bommarito. I mean, he's a phenomenal speed coach. So I ended up changing to T-Town just to be close to my family, and I'm finishing it up just here at the facility. But I got most of my, basically kind of the things that I've been working on as far as takeoffs and all of that stuff. I learned at Bommarito, and now I'm using it now and just, just using it to get better at my starts and just speed in general. But right now, man, I'm just focusing on that 40 and all of the other things like the 110 shuttle and all of those things, 510 shuttle and all those other things too.
Yeah, well, you're back here at home, and that's great news. And I was going to ask you before I knew you were back here in Tuscaloosa how you were handling, even though I know you're focused. There are a lot of potential distractions down there in Miami. I guess that's another thing. You don't have to worry about that here back at home in Tuscaloosa, huh?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think even too, like you said, man. I mean, there's obviously no strikes or anything. And even when I was down in Miami, man, I was so focused, and I was almost like I was kind of isolated from society almost in a way. So. But no, man, I feel like, just coming here would probably be the best thing, just me being around my family and also them being able to come up and see me whenever they can, especially before, things really get serious, man. And I'm often, starting to be on a team, man, where I'm probably not going to see hardly my family at any time, only until after the season. So, man, I just wanted to kind of just, make sure I was around my family at this time, but at the same time get quality training and also be able to be around some people that actually know my body and all those things too.
Yesterday, I had Kennedy Painter from DraftTech.com on my radio show, and we talked about you a little bit. He said you're one of his favorite players in the draft, not just because of your athletic ability, but because of the things that we've talked about the first couple of weeks, your maturity level, your attention to detail, the way you handle yourself. And, I wanted to mention that to you, and we've already alluded to this a little bit, but when you're up there in Indianapolis, a lot of it's physical. There's no doubt about it. But a lot of it, too, is the testing that they give you, your ability to relate to GMs and coaches. I want to ask you, do you practice that as well, Rashaan? I know you practice all the physical skills. Do you practice the mental aspect and the communication aspect to get ready for the Combine? Is that something you do, too?
To be honest with you, I don't even practice none of that stuff, man.
Okay.
I'm honest with you, when it's time for me to go in there and be around the team and, for the GMs to see the type of person that I am, I wanted to be as natural and as genuine as possible. I wanted to really see the true person that I am. I'm not even trying to come in to be, to put off as the most perfect person in the world. I wanted to see some of my flaws and at the same time see the great things about me. So, and I feel like teams look forward to seeing guys like that they're able to be real and upfront and be honest, whatever questions that they do ask, so they know exactly what they're getting.
Yeah, I get that. Just keeping it real. I understand that. That's a pretty good strategy. The 40, you mentioned it already. You're a fast guy. I know that. What is your goal to run the 40 in the Combine? What is the ideal time that Rashaan Evans has set for himself for that 40 in Indianapolis?
Be honest with you, man, I mean, my goal right now, this is obviously just to run a 4.5. I mean, that's something that most linebackers would love to run. So, that's always a good time that I feel like, any linebacker that runs that, man, pretty much been running pretty good 40 time. So that's around the range that I want to be at. And, that's definitely something that I'm striving to, man. Each and every day, I'm really working my butt off, man, just to try to get there. And to be honest with you, man, me going to this combine, I'm just gonna come in there, just relax, stress free, and if I run it, that's good. If I don't, I don't. But at the same time, I'm gonna just give it all I got, man.
What are you weighing right now, if you don't mind me asking you?
Oh man, well, right now, I'm really weighing right now around 231, 232. I kind of want to stay around that range. I don't want to get too heavy. I want to be able to be light and fast out there, man, so I can move.
Yeah, 4.5. You're on a 4.5 at 230. That's smoking pretty good. I touched on this last week, but it was more from the standpoint of recruiting for Alabama, what it means to have 14 former players invited to the Combine. What does it mean to you, though, to have won the national championship, to have so many of your former teammates, Alabama to lead the nation in numbers of players at the Combine with 14? I guess that gives you a big source of pride, doesn't it?
It does, man. Just in general of me being a part of, once again, another class that's going into the NFL Combine, man, and being a part of that, almost like a ritual, man. It's amazing. I think it's a blessing for me. I've came a long way, and for me to be able to be a part of it and participate in it, man, it means a lot. I'm around a lot of guys that are getting ready for the Combine, like Mika, Calvin, Reuben Foster, Cam, and all those guys. I mean, they working their butt off as well, and just seeing those guys mature and just seeing them just work so hard, man, to really, man, just extend their career in football, man. It just kind of just made me realize, wow, man, we really are here. It's getting close. So, man, I'm just soaking up the whole experience, to be honest with you.
I know that as an individual, you got to focus on you, and getting ready for the draft is important to you. But how much would it mean if you not only go in the first round, but there's a chance 5 of you guys could go total in the first round? Mika, Ridley, yourself, Duran, and Ronnie Harrison. How sweet would that be if there are 5 first-round picks this year from Alabama?
That would be amazing. To be honest with you, I want everybody who has came from Alabama to go first round. Like, that's how much I want these guys to succeed, man. And you could say it's realistic or not, but either way, man, I feel like these guys, the guys that come from Alabama, that the talent level here is phenomenal, man. And I feel like a lot of these guys are true first round type guys. Regardless of how this draft pans out, man, I know the most craziest things happen, when on draft day. Teams trade up, teams trade down, all of those things happen. So regardless of what it is, I know these teams are getting, top-notch guys that, who are unselfish, who are, hard-nosed, high IQ, and guys that are willing to work, man. So, I mean, regardless of what round they go in, man, these guys, they're getting a true player and a true athlete.
Visiting with Rashaan Evans, our countdown to the Combine and the NFL Draft. The Combine gets underway 13 days from today. It'll start 2 weeks from this past Tuesday up in Indianapolis. 14 players from Alabama will be at the Combine. I was disappointed, though, that Bradley Bozeman didn't make it. If I were an offensive line coach, I'd want to see him at the Combine. I know you worked against him in practice. Knowing that guy, he'll use that to fuel his fire. But, man, I mean, it should have been 15, right?
Yeah, I was definitely you know what, man, I was as well just disappointed to say that Bradley Bozeman did not get invited. Bradley Bozeman is one of those guys who truly works his butt off, man, each and every day. I mean, he's been doing that for, his whole career. I've known the guy for pretty good amount of time, and just, the one thing I do know is that once he does get to the NFL, he's going to succeed, because I feel like he naturally has that grind that he has, that chip on his shoulder, regardless if he made it to the Combine or not. He just naturally has that ability to not just get satisfied, but to be the best that he could possibly be. So, to be honest with you, even if he doesn't go to the Combine, I still feel like he's going to pan out and win in the end, because, the guy, he's made out of the right stuff.
I agree with you. He is. I want to ask you about Coach Saban. I've talked to a lot of folks around the program that say, not that he didn't give 100% all the time. You know that better than me. He gives his all. But I've talked to a lot of folks that say he's invigorated, that this last national championship's got him excited. So much turnover in the staff, a lot of his former coaches coaching against him in the SEC. Did you sense that before you started working on combine stuff, that Saban has just has really even gotten more excited about doing his job? If we can imagine that. Do you sense that from him?
Absolutely. I mean, you need to understand that Coach Saban is human, man. He's not a robot. I mean, the guy, just off the facts, man, I mean, he's getting older. I feel like now at the point in his life, man, I think he's so sold on just seeing guys be successful in their own careers than him actually being successful. Be honest, I've heard him say numerous amount of times, like, where he's saying that I'm not even worried about a national championship. I'm more worried about guys, the seniors that, they work so hard to, achieve something like that, and for the younger guys to be a part of it and give the same amount of effort as the seniors. And, I feel like that's one of the reasons why we're constantly successful each and every year. Everybody knows their role. Everybody does it at a high level, and that's the reason why we're so successful. And, Coach Saban, like I said, man, I mean, be honest, I don't even think he even cares anymore about national championships. I think he's so solely worried about guys being successful just individually, guys getting their degree, guys, making it to the NFL and extending their football career, guys that are, and also teaching guys, not just only about X's and O's, but about, life in general. I truly feel like he's more worried about the players than just any of his, national championship stuff, even though that's a great thing. And I know fans, they love to see those things. But, Coach Saban, he goes deeper into his teachings and his coaching. And I think that's the reason why he's really, in my opinion, the greatest coach of all time in college football.
That's some great insight, Rashaan. Finally, before we turn you loose this week, and I know this is a tough subject, but I want to ask you about it because I know he's a good friend of yours, your former running mate there at linebacker at Alabama. Reuben Foster going through a tough time, and we're not going to get into all the legal aspects. Obviously, that'll work itself out. But as your former teammate, a good friend of yours, have you had a chance to talk with him, number one? And number two, I guess in a situation like this, you just try to support him. Is that what you're going to try to do? What do you do as a friend and a former teammate when one of your pals is going through a tough spot like he's going through right now?
I think in my position right now, man, I haven't had a chance to really talk to him. I think right now for me to do is just be there for him and support him. Whoever's listening to this, I want people to understand that, Ruben Foster is far from whatever it is that is going on or that is showing on the media. I mean, I've literally grown up with this guy. I know at heart what type of person he is. He has a daughter. I mean, he loves his daughter and treats her with so much respect and love, and his mother as well. And whatever it is that came out as far as the domestic violence, so that was something that was almost like a shock. Like, I mean, that's almost like seeing a shark, walking on land. Like, I've never, like, it was a shock. And Ruben, I'm telling you, everybody who's listening right now, Ruben is not that type of guy. And, for whatever reason that it is, I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to get too far in depth in it, but I know the true Ruben. I know who Ruben really is. And, I just hope people kind of just not judge him off of, what the media is saying and just kind of wait things out to see what really, happened. But, I feel like the people that have been around him at the facility and people who have actually engaged with him know that this guy is true at heart, one of the most, nicest, most funny guys you'll ever meet, I'm telling you.
And I like what you said. Just let's don't rush to judgment. Let's let things play out. We live in a society now where people want to take a headline and run with it. And let's just see what happens. Finally, since you are back in T-Town and you're working, do you get to spend any time with Mr. Yeah, Scott Cochrane?
Absolutely, man. Hey, to be honest with you, I was actually kind of missing that guy, man. He played a big part of me of me being as explosive and just hard-nosed as I've been, man. I mean, that guy, he knows how to train guys. He knows how to get in guys' heads to, to be the best athlete that they can possibly be, man. He truly is the face of you know, athletics at Alabama, man. As far as, you know, weight training, man, I feel like he's done a phenomenal job over the years, and to be honest, it seems like he's getting better and better. You know, as the guys, you know, constantly come out for the combine, and you'll see that, you know, when the combine